Okay, this is the how to make your own homemade ballistics gel for pretty cheap. We're going to cut to where I do this probably 2 weeks ago now because I had the flu really bad. So I'm finally here to test it. So if you want to skip to the end or watch the end, we'll try it out on some different handguns here and see how it works. So the next part of the video is me like 2 weeks ago doing this, and then after that we'll see what happens. What is up, guys? My one buddy, Mrs. Mel, he asked me about how do I make my homemade ballistics gel. I'll show you. The only thing you have to buy is this. And this is really the only cost. And I was trying to find it as cheap as possible. I found some stuff that was cheaper. I was hesitant to buy it. I will in the future just to try it. But this stuff works really good. This Windcrest brand. I bought this on eBay for 25 bucks for a pound, 1.25 pound. So it is not, so right there is like, that was shipping and everything. So that's like 50 bucks right there. That kind of sucks, but that will, it won't fill this bucket up. So let's get into that, like the mixing ratio and stuff. I'll get into that in 1 second. This is just regular unflavored gelatin. So to get it, there's probably ways you could make it more clear. I tried with a torch and stuff. It comes out okay. You know, because if you would buy this much clear ballistics gel, that stuff's really expensive. And this, I melted this stuff down many a times, and it works. So the only thing is the mixing ratio. The first batch I did, I mixed, I think, 1.5 gallons to one of these, and that bitch was fucking bricked up. She was hard as hell, man. And then my next batch, actually I think it's sitting out there, it was too thin. I filled up the 5-gallon bucket and I put 2 of these in, and it was too thin. So I think the perfect ratio is going to be 3 full gallons in that 2 liter. There's 3.78 liters in a gallon, so 3.5 gallons roughly per 2.5 pounds of gelatin. So, well, what we're going to do, I'll get my tripod set up. I'm not sure what you want. A bucket with a lid. If you're using a bucket, whatever you use, you want it to be tapered. A bucket, actually, you can tell it's bigger up top. You want to be able to get it out. They're really easy to get out of a bucket. You just stick your hand down there, brace the seal, it'll come right out. You don't have to put anything else in. Just literally that. You need a stick to mix it. Get your hand. This stuff gets really sticky, and it stinks like shit. Like, it smells horrible. And if you let it out in the warm, it will mold, and then it will stink way worse. Trust me. That's where a lid comes in handy. And you got to keep in mind, when you're mixing, it'll settle down. So what I'm gonna do, I didn't do the last one. I'm gonna let it set up a little bit, and then I'm gonna turn it upside down, and then that should mix it. That should get all the particles and roughly more evenly spaced out. So let me get the water. You don't want it. The first time I did, I used boiling water, and it actually started to cook the gelatin. Because I think all it is like pork gelatin, but it will actually start to cook it, and then you get this weird film on top. So I found out, just use hot water, not like screaming hot, just hot water. It'll help dissolve and break it up, and it won't cook it. So let me quit talking and get set up. Okay, I got you guys right over top there. I'm just gonna start in. I'll put it in, probably put a whole gallon in, or most of it here. You want to mix it in slow, because if you do put it in too quick, it tends to gel up, like stick together. So you kind of want to spread it out. There, we got 1 whole gallon in. You gotta get yourself a mixing stick here. Yeah, and when there's a plastic seal in here, you take the seal off. There's nothing else, so that's what it looks like. And we're just going to sprinkle it in, and you see how it's kind of like chunking up like that. That's why you don't want to mix it in super fast, and like constantly keep stirring it. You see it's like sticking in the middle there, just keep constantly like this. Constant stir. You probably could get, like, you know, get your screw gun and the drilling attachment would be better, but we're on a budget here, brother. Okay, see now, and you'll get a lot of bubbles too when you're done. So what I found out is kind of, you almost want to leave the lid off till it cools down, till it kind of stabilizes, and then put the lid on, and then maybe turn it upside down, let it sit for a little bit. As far as refrigeration goes, in this room, it's attached to the house. It's like a giant refrigerator. So this literally works perfect come winter time. It definitely wouldn't set up if it was hot out. I don't know what temperature you absolutely need for it to set up. You could, if you have a small refrigerator, just take the shelves out and use that, like one of them cheap ones from Home Depot. Actually, I do have one, the Magic Chef or whatever, the little college dorm refrigerator. You can get one of them, and you can keep some beer and whiskey in there, and then put your shooting shit in there. Just don't get it mixed up. I bet this stuff tastes like shit. Okay, I got it mixed up pretty good. I got some of the thicker shit out of the top there and just put it in there. There's definitely still some. It'll come. They usually float to the surface, but when you melt it down, it kind of like bakes them out of it. You know, it melts them down again. So when you're ready to reform it, you have to cook. You have to melt it, either via put it in a metal bucket on a fire outside. You could use your oven, but trust me, I spilled some in my oven one time, and to get that smell out of it, like, I had to deep clean that oven. It needed it anyway, but still. So I would recommend open fire outside, some kind of metal container. It'll turn back into a liquid, and then just get a strainer, put it over your bucket, whatever you're pouring into, just pour it back in there. That way you can strain out any, whatever stuck in there, bullets, fragments, whatever. So I'm going to put the lid on there. I'm going to let it sit out in the snow, just so it kind of speed runs the process here, because I want to use it hopefully tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be ready tomorrow. The other bucket I let set up for a couple days because I wasn't going to use it. So I'll take a look at it. I'll see how, it seems like it sets up pretty quick. So we'll get back. We'll see how it turns out. Probably in the next frame here. Okay, here it is. Trying to stay out of, not fall my ass either. Let's see how she turned out. Actually, I did not open this since like 2 weeks ago when I made it. Yeah, she definitely stinks. So you can see them were the pieces, like the chunks I was talking about. So if you get some in there, it's not a big deal. They kind of float to the surface. This part kind of sucks. You gotta, it's turned out pretty good. Feels real good actually. So just work your hand in here. All you're doing is breaking the suction. Put a couple pats on the bottom. I can feel it coming out already. Whoop, there she goes. Oh yeah, very good. There she is. So you can tell it's definitely not clear, but it works good. Like this. Ooh. The jiggle on this. Yeah, she's way more stout. Oh yeah. Get you guys out of here. Way more stout. I think that's pretty good. I wouldn't go any leaner on that mixture. Should be about perfect. So let's try. I'm gonna do a separate video. I'll probably do a bunch of videos with this, but for right now, we'll just try a 22 out and see what happens. Okay, first up, we're gonna use 22. We're gonna use I think this is a cap. 22 short. He said, I think it's just a cap, which is like just pretty much just a primer. I'm not sure. It's not not very potent. Let's just say that. Here we go. How about there? Yeah, it was just a cap. That's pretty cool though. So you can see, no way to go the whole way through. I don't think so. No, she didn't. No, she definitely didn't go through, but it seems pretty reasonable. I think any ballistic gel, that's probably what a 22 would do. I don't see it in there though. Anyway, let's try some other stuff. Okay, next up, we're just going to try some bird shot, some rat shot, snake shot, whatever you want to call it. Rodent shot. Should be pretty interesting out of this little pistol. So let's see what happens. That was pretty cool. Hey, I injected it too. Oh, that's awesome. Look. So you can see. Let's see, turn the light on. Oh yeah. So you can see all the little BBs. That's pretty neat, man. So yeah, that would hurt to get shot by. Super cool looking. Okay, next up we got the 22 Gold Dot Hollow Point. So this should... Oh, shit. Okay, back in action. Back to the Gold Dot here. We'll just put her right about here. You can see unburnt powder there. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, way more potent there. Did it go? It did. Did it? It must have. No. No, it definitely didn't. Sorry. So that worked pretty good. That's about what regular ballistic gel would do. So I went in. I mean, that's, oh man, that's above average, I would say. But seriously, it's probably 7.5 inches. So yeah, it worked pretty good. I don't know, I can't see the bullet there though. I mean, I can see everything, but maybe it might, I don't know. That's from my finger, I don't think so. Must be in there somewhere. But yeah, so for cheaper, and then when you're done with this, you melt it down. I have metal buckets. You can literally just cut it with a knife, put it in a metal bucket, cook it over a fire. Don't do it in your house and spill it in your oven because you'll never get the smell out. Cook it over an open fire outside in a metal bucket. Run it through a strainer and then put it back in your plastic bucket or whatever you're using for casting. And then, like I said, for its refrigeration, it has to be cool, but I don't know what the temperature would be per se. You could get one of the little home refrigerators, like from the Home Depot or something, and that'd easily fit a bucket. You know, that would work totally fine. So there it is, guys. I hope you liked it. Hope you found it interesting. And we're gonna have another video here I'm working on now with like the 5.7 and different things on this. So see you guys in the next one.